It's pretty simple. If you can't defend the pass, you can't get stops in college football 26. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm giving you the complete deep dive to lockdown pass defense here in CFP 26. Whether you want to know which zone drop settings to use or you want to know how to lock down corner routes, I've got you more than covered in this video, so you ought to not skip out on anything I have today. Let's jump right into it. Like I said, the first thing I want to show you is how you can lock down corner routes really by putting your controller down on defense. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so we're going to come here into nickel over cover 4 quarters. Now, understand that this is a match coverage based play, which means you need to have all 3 of these zone drop depths on default. So default is your solution. We're going to come here into cover 4 quarters. Alright, now what we need to make sure that we have turned on is we need to just make sure that we have 3 defenders on the side that they're probably flooding. So they're going to have a flood concept here. Like I said, inside quarter, outside quarter, quarter flat. And so what you're going to notice is I'm literally just going to put my controller down on defense, and you're just going to watch how beautifully we're going to be able to take that away. I mean, look at that. Outside quarter sits on the corner route. What's it called? The inside quarter is going to sit on the shriek, and then the quarter flat defender right here is going to be able to defend the flat. Boom. Come down, defend this, and they're not able to throw it. So really, stopping corner routes really just comes down to calling a match coverage-based play and actually having your guys in the right position. Now, if we respot this ball to, allow them to use some more space right there on the wide side of the field, you're going to notice how it's the same thing. All you really need to do, I'd recommend using this quarter flat defender, and you still have those 2 guys out there on the sideline. So again, boom, or excuse me, 3 guys. So shriek, corner, flat, everyone struggles against this. They're going to roll out, and it's going to be the exact same thing where we're sitting on that corner route, we're matching onto it. So we're going to start in zone coverage. You're going to confuse the offense. They're just going to think you're in spot drop zone, and then by the time they roll out or by the time they decide to throw this, we're already latched onto it, taking it away, and there's nowhere for them to go with this pass. Also recognize that even if they have like another route, like an S post, we're going to be bracketing that too. So really, for the most part, everything's taken away. We have a man dropping underneath, and again, this is going to work against a lot of different route concepts. Like if they were to put their running back on an in route, maybe give themselves another check down, you're just going to notice how this man now is just going to be sitting on this to take it away underneath and not allow basically any yards. So really, I would say cover 4 quarters is an underutilized defense to be able to stop a lot of these, sideline passes, these deep S posts, these deep corners, anything that you can really think of. Match coverage is going to be a great option to be able to defend it. Just watch out for the underneath pass with your user if they don't call it flood concept. Alright, next I want to show you the best settings to actually improve your pass defense here in CFP 26. Let me break it down. Alright, so I want to break down zone drops in specific right here because I think this is something that you guys are listening to the wrong people, or they're just telling you the wrong information. A lot of creators right now, I'm not going to say any names, are pushing these 10-yard flats. Use 10-yard flats. Let me show you the prime example of why you should never use a 10-yard flat. Alright, what you're going to notice is we're in cover 3, or we have our curl flats on 10 yards, which is what they're telling you to do. Alright, what you're going to notice is this curl flat out here is he's not guarding this table route. Like I can just hike throw this and pick up, that's like 7 yards on a simple, table route out of the backfield. What is the actual point of putting a flat on the field if I can just throw this, right? And you're telling me, like good offensive players like myself who preach checkdowns, the checkdowns are your first read. If they give you an inch, all I'm doing is reading that defender. You see right there how we pick up 8 yards that time. I'm reading this defender. If he backpedals like this immediately, I'm throwing this table route, right? This is the guy that I'm reading, right? Boom, he's dropping. I see he's dropping. I actually don't even think he's in a flat. That's what I'm thinking. I don't even think he's in a flat. I can easily throw this. So again, I hike throw my flat and I pick up 8 yards. A 10-yard flat is not guarding that. Even on the other side of the field, right? You see on the right side now, we have our curl flat. If they just hike throw this is easy yards out here. That time I picked up like 13 yards on a simple flat route. You cannot defend the flat using 10-yard flats. If they make late reads to the flat, that's when it's fine. Because what you're going to notice is, right, I'm going to call a route concept like this. By the time I go to throw this, okay, that's better defense. Now I only pick up like 2 yards, 3 yards right there. But it's like, if I just see that that man's dropping back immediately, you're playing against good, smart offensive players who actually will hit their checkdowns. That 10-yard flat isn't guarding anything. So really need to move him down to 5 yards or just use hard flats, because what you're going to notice here is I'm going to put my flats on 5 yards this time, and I'm going to still call cover 3, and now we're going to do a whole lot better job of taking away the underneath pass. Now, hard flats are still going to be the best zone because hard flats don't backpedal immediately. So boom, we take this snap. You see how he dropped out, and so that time we only pick up like 4 yards instead of like 7 or 8, right? But it's like, I would still say if you want to like really defend the flat, you should just put hard flats in the field, right? So now we have our hard flat. Boom, and you're just able to see how he's sitting on that. He's not going to backpedal, one bit at all. So really, that's the point. You have to be able to stop those underneath passes. And I would just say that using 5-yard flats is going to be a whole lot better. You see how right there, that 5-yard flat to the field side, he actually breaks that pass up instead of last time it was a huge gain. So there's a lot of different use cases for different zone drop settings, right? For example, if you wanted to, defend a flood concept, like another way to defend a flood concept, like I showed you earlier, right? You could probably just move these guys, these flats, all the way back to 25 yards, put your slot corner in a curl flat, and now what you're going to notice is Jam Miller runs the table. We have him on a shriek, we have him in a corner. Now we're going to have everyone locked down and taken away, and there's going to be nowhere for them to go about throwing that pass. So it's like with zone drop, so many people think that it's just one magic number, three magic numbers to have them set to, but you're really just trying to see where your guys are playing and what formation the offense is running and how you want to defend it. But if you're trying to defend underneath passes, 5-yard flats are a whole lot better than 10-yard flats. Obviously, I feel like that should be common sense, but then also using the double Mabel coverage with your flats on 25, curl flats on 5 from a cover 2 defense is going to do a great job of stopping those, deeper flood concepts. Alright, so if you're finding this pass defense guide helpful here in College Football 26, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I break down College Football 26 tips and tricks to get you guys better on defense every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full defensive ebook from the 326 playbook, you can go to the link down below in the pinned comment, grab it today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. It goes through the full written breakdown, videos, screenshots, everything you're going to need, and the best part is you can save it on your phone during gameplay and always reference it. It's really no-brainer. It's going to transform the way you play defense. So grab it today and let's jump right back into the video. Because the next part of pass defense that so many people miss is actually having a good user defender. I say that and you might not know what it means right now, but let me break it down for you. Alright, so this is an important tip from every single defense and against every offense. Doesn't matter, alright? For example, we're going to have their route concept. We're going to have them put their tight end on a shriek, and we're going to have them put their B receiver on a drag, right? So it's going to look something like this. What you're going to notice here is the defense that I have called, if I'm basically just going to have to pick my poison between this like middle post right here to Y and then the drag to B. Okay, and so really what too many people do is they take this snap and they guard this, and you can see how not only is X open, A is open, and the Y receiver, the slot receiver is open. So it's like that would be an example of a really bad user, because essentially what I did here on this play was I took away a 5-yard drag and gave up a touchdown, a 30-yard post, or if the ball was further back, it would be an even bigger gain. So that's not what you want to do. When we talk about have a good user, you need to stay disciplined and take away the deepest route on the field that is a threat to your defense. So here in this case, I'm leaving this drag. I'm guarding this post because I understand that's my user's responsibility. I know the defense that I have called. You should always understand the defense that you have called and the weaknesses that it has. So I see here on this play, they're calling not only one, but really, 3 guys are running to the spot where my defense is the weakest. So I have to get back there and user that. Now, here's the thing. I'm giving up this underneath pass, and that's the reality of defense sometimes, guys. You can't take away everything. If you call a defense, they happen to call a better play to beat that defense perfectly, well, now you have to sacrifice. You have to take away this deeper pass it's all the bend but don't break philosophy, right? Take away the deeper pass, give them the underneath, and force them to actually hit it. I would say if you leave a deeper pass open, it's very rare that people will miss those reads, but if you leave an underneath pass open, it's more likely that they will. Again, not to say that you want to give up underneath passes all game wide open. You certainly want to find a way to take those away, but it's like, okay, well now I understand, okay, if they call that same route concept again, I still know that I have to, user that. I still have to user that post, but now maybe what I can do is I can man up their drag, right? So now that drag will be taken away. And so boom, now I take the snap, I user this, and I'm back here. I'm guarding this, post to Y. I'm taking away that tight end up the seam. So really, on the first play, I give it up, but I still had a good user. I still had to take away the problem route, and I did a good job of that. Now, I make the adjustment, I man up their drag, and it's much tighter coverage, right? And so that's really what it is. You can make adjustments on defense, and you're going to have to make adjustments on defense here, but it's like, another example would be, let's just say they have a corner route, they have a shriek, and I know that I called cover 2 hard flat, right? So as soon as this ball gets snapped, oh, he's running a corner, I have to get out there and guard it. And so now, yes, they can throw probably that tight end right there, right in the middle. But that's way better than them having a wide open 25-yard corner out on the sideline. I make a beeline out here, honestly do a decent job of getting out there. They probably wouldn't throw that. Instead, they would just hit this pass, which is what you want them to do. It's way better to obviously give up that little hitch than to give up the corner out wide open the sideline because you're trying to take away the hitch. So bottom line with your user, you don't have to look at what zone he's in and follow that and basically be in that area. You don't have to do that. All you really need to make sure that you're doing is that you are recognizing the route concept that they have called, knowing what defense you had called in your head before the snap, and then as the play develops, figure out what's the biggest threat to my defense and go take that away with your user defender. Alright, so obviously if you clicked on this video, you're trying to improve your pass defense here in College Football 26. So hit that subscribe button. Like I said earlier in the video, every single day I break down College Football 26 defense tips to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content I have. But let me jump into those final 2 defensive tricks you don't want to miss. And that next one is going to be an extension of the last segment where I told you to have a good user. Switch sticking on defense is going to make your defense a whole lot better, obviously including your pass defense. Let me show you why. Alright, so switch stick here, very, very important. So if we go ahead and call the same exact situation, same route concept, we're going to have this, right? And so you're going to see we're in cover 2, so I understand, okay, I have a good user. I take this away. This is what's threatening my defense. Obviously, though, I'm giving up that underneath drag, right? Which, as I told you in the last segment, is okay, right? Because they just called a good play, right? We take away their deep pass. We force them to hit their checkdown. Some people will, some people won't. But here's the way that you're going to make sure that you can take away both of those at the same time, even though they completely out-called your defense. Like, they basically won that play call. It was a way better play call against the defense that you had called, but you could still make it a successful rep for you on defense. So really what you're going to do is you're going to start the play on Lawson, for example, right? And you're just going to switch stick by flicking the right stick in the direction of the guy that you want to switch onto. So we're going to block our running back right here, and we are going to switch stick now, come down, take this away, because now you see Jefferson, he's in a middle third zone. So again, you know what zone he's in. So when you switch stick off of him, you know where he's going to end up. And honestly, he's dropping to the perfect spot to be able to take that away. So boom, right here, pause it now. That's when I switch. And so now I come down, take this away. And now Jefferson's lurking back here to take away this shriek, to take away this S-post. And now he's basically guarding 3 routes at the same time while I switched it to take away their drag. And now I'm here to take this away. So again, they called a whole lot of a better play than the defense that we had on the field. But we're still able to successfully win that rep simply because we have a good switch stick. So we go through another example right here where, again, same kind of thing I told you earlier where we're going to shade our coverage down, right? Maybe we call cover 2 hard flat. Well, now they have a corner out on the field. So certainly you could user this, or you could probably just man up the tight end and then be prepared to switch stick, especially if you knew the play that they were calling. So boom, we're going to take the snap, switch stick here, and now I'm on the slot corner to take away the corner out. And now the linebacker is just sitting on that tight end to take it away. So now, again, we have textbook defense. We called cover 2 hard flat. they called a much better play to beat the defense, right? But still we're able to win the rep and get a sack because we take away their first read, we man it up, and then we switched it, and then we're able to get onto a corner up top right here and take this all the way up the sideline for a big gain. So ultimately, that's how dangerous the switch stick is and what it can really do for your defense. But you're going to ask, BLT, how do I go about improving my switch stick? And the best way to do that is to get here in practice mode where there's no worry, it's worry-free, right? Or you can just focus on flicking that right stick and getting better. So what I would do is just spy off the pass rush, right? And take the snap, and you're just trying to take away all these openings right here. You just want to make sure that at no point can they throw any of this. And then they're going to start route bouncing. Again, eventually they're going to start route bouncing, and you're still trying to make sure that as these guys are coming across the field, you're taking them away. Again, you want at no point for them to be able to throw any of these passes, and so eventually, you're going to throw the ball away. But I would recommend, maybe get in here for 10, 15 minutes before you even get in the game and work on your switch stick, because what this is going to do, it's going to allow you to practice your control with your switch stick. It's going to allow you to make sure that you're getting onto the right guy and, you're able to take these routes away. You're essentially just going to get a better feel for when I flick the right stick in this direction, this is where I go. So ultimately, that's what it is. The switch stick, it's going to allow you to play better pass defense, basically make up ground for when they call a successful play. And really the best way to get better with it is obviously through repetition here in practice mode with a drill like this. And that last defensive tip that I want to show you is a way to stop checkdowns every single time. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so I'm actually going to show you two things here in this segment because I already kind of touched on one of them earlier. But you want to make sure that you have your curl flats on 5 yards and your zone drops, and then you are going to call a cover 3 or a cover 4 play where you're going to have purple zones in the field. And essentially 5-yard flats are going to do a great job of taking away these underneath passes. Like for example, you're just going to watch this play and you're just going to notice how we have a 5 on the field. He's just breaking on that drag. I know you guys give up drags, table routes, all of that stuff all the time, and essentially when you have 5-yard flats on the field, you're going to be able to do a great job of just breaking on that pass. I mean, like he's right there to make that play, kind of just whiffs, but you saw it in the last play where he's right there to make that play, right? Also, like I told you earlier, you can simply put hard flats in the field. I would say hard flats are going to be a little bit better at defending them than maybe a 5-yard curl flat, simply because what you notice here is right off the snap, you see how he backpedals a little bit, like he moves out, whereas a hard flat's going to come completely down, right? Watch this, where he just comes down immediately and he's right there. So it's similar, right? You see the same result, a pass breakup, but a hard flat is just going to come down a little bit faster and break on the ball. So that's really the first way to stop underneath passes. So that works against table routes, drags, outs, really anything that you can think of, right? We put an out route on the field and you're just going to see how our man is sitting there and he should, intercept that pass. So it's like this 5-yard flat or hard flats are going to do a great job of, from zone coverage of stopping underneath passes. But also what you can do is if you want to run man coverage for those type of players, you can man a guy up who you think is going to be running the underneath pass, and then you would probably just route commit inside. So if you think he's running a drag, route commit inside. You think he's running an out, route commit outside, right? But really the route commit is so good that it really doesn't matter. You can guess wrong. Also, you can shade underneath. That's going to help you as well, because then he's just going to be playing underneath in his man coverage assignment. So you're going to notice right here, Ryan Williams, right? And then he's basically running that route for him. You see how he's literally sticking with him step for step because he's shaded underneath. He's not worried about a deeper pass. And then he's also route committed. So boom, you're able to see it. Easy, right? I mean, he's running the route step for step with this receiver, a linebacker against one of the best receivers in the game. So that's really what it is. Again, you could do it twice. So again, I could shade underneath, route commit inside, right? So Y, Y, and then route commit inside, and then I could man up the other guy. So I can man up the tight end, right? Y, A, and then route commit inside, right? So now we're shaded underneath. We have those two guys manned up, and then we're route committed inside. So really, we should be running these routes for these receivers, like you're able to see right here. Great man coverage, but then also it's like, if you wanted to, you could have additional zone support on top of that. So really stopping underneath passes should be very simple for you guys. After you watch this video, right? I mean, you're just seeing it. I mean, this is a textbook blueprint. One of the best receivers here in the game getting absolutely locked down on a drag simply because we're using all the right mechanisms to be able to defend the underneath pass. Also understand though, that can leave you susceptible obviously to deeper passes, corners, posts, really stuff like that. But that's really where you have a good user. You switched it and you kind of build your defense around that. But it's like, just simply stop underneath passes, just use hard flats, 5-yard flats, maiming the guy up, route committing, all good options to stop checkdowns. Alright, so if you found that pass defense guide helpful here in College Football 26, again, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down College Football 26 tips and tricks to help you guys get better in defense every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content I have. But once again, if you want my full 326 defensive ebook with the best videos, the best written breakdowns, and the best screenshots, and you can save it on your phone during gameplay, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab it today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. I guarantee to transform the way you play defense. And if you want to see a gameplay of me running that 3-2-6 defense, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.